What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of JonnyG in the morning. I hope you guys are having a great day. It's Thursday. We got one more day to make it through. Weekend comes. I know, but you guys, but I definitely have some plans. Usually on Kentucky Derby weekend, I like to go down to the old local pub there, and we make a little, couple of bets, a little bit of wagers. So yeah, I hope everyone's having a good one. Today's topic we're gonna be talking about it's a very important one. I've talked about it quite a bit on my stream. If you guys are unfamiliar with my stream, I do stream on Twitch. It is just twitch.tv/JonnyG1246. I think I've talked about it on Instagram before as well, and it may have came up in a recent podcast I had with Taylor Vandy, the Heartbreak Healer. We talked kind of a little bit about relationships, not a whole lot. We kind of went off that path a little bit. But yeah, so we're going to be taking on relationships today, which relationships are such a difficult thing to bring up because I feel like the world today has definitely a different viewpoint of what relationships should be. I myself, I've been through relationships, a lot of shit going down, and I think some of the biggest things, definitely in relationships that I feel like are difficult to be in now is because a lot of people, and I've done it too. I'm guilty of it myself. It's something that I have tried very hard to work on. Something that I think I still work on from time to time when I find myself in that situation is, one of the biggest things with relationships is a lot of people now, they hold on to the past. You've heard it before. I've said it before too. It's such a difficult thing to date anyone nowadays, all because it just seems like everyone is just so fucking broken. Everyone's got a past that they just don't want to let go. Everyone has been cheated on. Everyone has been through so much shit, whether it's, verbal abuse, physical abuse. A lot of people have been through a lot of things, and, it kind of sucks when you're trying something new with a new person. Everything seems good and everything is actually going really well. But for some reason, the past just has to come up constantly, and I don't think it's such a difficult thing to see past that when it's a constant reminder every day of fuck, like this is how my last relationship was. Is this one going to go? And I feel like that makes people tiptoe around things, which definitely I don't think is a great thing to do in relationships. Definitely don't be tiptoeing around. Don't be keeping secrets because you're afraid of hurting someone else's feelings, and that goes both ways too. Even after you're in a breakup, and like let's say the ex is like trying to work things out with you or something like that. Don't spare their feelings. Don't dangle that imaginary brass ring in front of them that there's a possibility of things that are going to be could end up becoming another relationship. Don't be doing that. To me it's so ridiculous. And if you're gonna sit there and dangle that brass ring in front of them, you're gonna give someone hope. And when you give someone hope, it's just further down the line you're gonna keep that lie going, and you're gonna end up hurting that person more than you can ever imagine. But it's the same thing too. Like if you're in a relationship, don't be stringing along two people. Like, don't be stringing along your ex and the new person that you're with. Just trying to play like little. You're gonna toss the coin heads or tails. Who is it gonna land on? That definitely isn't a good thing either. And I feel like that's what's happening a lot nowadays. I've had friends that have gone through it. I have gone through it myself. On the bad end, not the one that's I've never in my life dangled something in front of somebody to be like, it's very possible that this could work, but I kind of want this to work. So I'm just gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna keep talking to this person this way, and I'm gonna keep talking to that person that way. It's never a good thing to do. There's a couple of things. I did bring this website up, and if you guys want to take a peek at it, I could also put it in the description as well. It says 33 most common reasons relationships fail here, and I'm just gonna bring up a couple of them. We don't have to do all fucking 33. That's definitely that's definitely gonna be a long thing. I don't want to make this video that long. But definitely number one that they have on there, and this is something I see a lot, is you withdraw during arguments. That means people just kind of like shut down. Instead of actually wanting to sit and talk about it, a lot of people are shut down. Once again, I've been guilty of that in the past too, and I've noticed that about myself. And I get upset, if that happens, and it's just like, fuck, dude, I shouldn't have shut down like that. So I try to take it head on, as to being like, okay, let's assess the situation, what is happening, and I try my very, very best to not yell, to let emotions come over. But it's very difficult when you're the one that wants to talk about it, but the other person is just like, no, like I said what I said, and we're not talking about it anymore. That, I think, that definitely is key. That deserves number one. In my book as of right now. But as we go down this list a little bit further, we'll see if anything else pops up on that. But yeah, I definitely think that if you're gonna make some kind of relationship work, you have to be able to talk, and you have to be able to not keep those secrets, and you have to be 100% honest with your significant other, for sure. Let's see, number two, you're not on the same page. I mean, that's never gonna work, in a relationship at all. If no one's on the same page, that's just never gonna work. We also have holding your partner to unrealistic standards. I think we can kind of skip by that. Everyone's got what they want, but that is one thing too. Never mind, we're gonna jump back on the bandwagon on this one. I think that is another thing too, is everyone thinks you're going to find this perfect person. That person is going to be perfect for you. You don't think you ever have to work on anything, or it turns into, I'm going to make this person and mold and shape them into who I want them to be. And that has also happened in my past before, of, being with someone, and the shitty thing is when you can actually tell. You can tell you're getting molded, but for some reason, you're still doing what they want you to do, even though in all reality it's not who you are as a person. And I think that kind of comes into play, with someone, just afraid of being alone, that they want to make this person so happy, and they'll do anything for them, and if that's changing who they are as a person, people end up doing that. Which definitely that's in the long run, guys, that's definitely not going to work at all. It's just, relationships, I think, are very tricky. They're a tricky thing to be in. It's not like in the old days, like the old days, it just seemed like people were actually able to talk, and they were actually able to communicate. And it was actually, let's work on things, and let's not, run off to the next person that's at the local bar, and, yeah, we're fucking fighting. And then you end up with some rando over at the bar just kind of being like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of seeing someone, but we're fighting, so technically we're not together. And then you just kind of go from there, whether or not you go the full fucking home run on that or not, or whatever base you want to touch on. It just seems like I've seen that a lot, and that to me is ridiculous too. I wish we can just kind of go back to the old days, man. Where you get into an argument, you kind of walk away. One person goes one way, one person goes the other. And you can actually find that person a little bit later and just be like, look, what just happened, our argument that we had, it's ridiculous. I should have done this. And then the other person, kind of goes, well, I kind of see your point. I shouldn't have done this either. Which brings me to another valid point that I think in relationships too is you both have to be able to take blame on things. It's not just one person that has to take the blame during an argument. I think you both need to be able to be adults and just say, look, what I said was fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, but also what I did was horrible. I never should have done that to you. But you got to be very, very careful with that to not let that happen every single time. And what I mean by that, of not letting it happen every single time, is you have to know what your actions were, and you have to learn from them. If you don't learn from your actions, you're just going to continue to do it. So, for example, let's put that down. For example, if somebody is gonna, my ex hit me up and, asked if I wanted to have a drink, and we were kind of arguing and fighting. I went and had a drink with them. I know that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. And I promise it won't happen again. When you make that promise, you should stick to that. You should stick to that promise of not doing that again, because if you end up doing it again and you think that you're just going to get away with it, of saying, oh, I know, I fucked up again, I went and had drinks with them, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen again. Eventually those words just become nothing. You can say sorry so many times, but if sorry just keeps coming back to the same result and the result doesn't change, what do you think is going to happen to your relationship? It's just going to be, they said they're sorry, but I don't even fucking believe them. And then it's just going to continue to happen that way, and the person's just going to get pissed and upset. And, you can't sit there and make these failed promises and continuously say sorry over and over. If someone has to continuously say they're sorry and that they fucked up multiple times, do you really think that you two are gonna work out? I can almost guarantee that it's not gonna work out. If someone has to constantly think about their actions and be like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, maybe it's time where it's just like, I don't know if we can ever I just don't know if I can trust that person. And it comes down to as well where, and I'm just kind of looking at, number 7 here, or a refuse to compromise type situation. You have to be able to compromise. And once again, guys, this is coming from someone who has had multiple failed relationships. I mean, I won't say multiple, like I've dated fucking 30-some people or something. I haven't done that. But definitely had, some failed relationship. And if you can't come to some kind of compromise on anything, where you're just going to constantly be butting heads. And let's be honest, you don't want to sit there and constantly be butting heads with the person that you're dating, or you're trying to see, or you guys are actually trying to become an item. I've seen that too many times. It never works out in the end, and it usually just turns out bad. It really does. And also, down to 8 here, another one. You don't express your emotions in a similar manner. I can definitely see that. If someone is the one that's constantly going to be, the one that shows you exactly how much someone means to them, and they're the ones that are always throwing out kind of like those, I guess you can say, like cute little messages in the morning, or like just throughout the day, and you're not really getting that back from your partner or from your significant other, that's definitely going to bring up some hurt feelings too, because it's like, am I the one that's actually just kind of carrying a little bit more in this relationship? Am I the one that's going to have to, carry this whole relationship on my shoulders? It just, yeah. I mean, it's a very, very tough situation to be in. We're going to skip down 10. You take your anger out on each other. I've always been a very firm believer of, if you're with somebody, you shouldn't take your day out on them. That person that you're with, they should be your safe place to be. You have to put up with so much shit throughout the day, whether it's work or, whether it's a family problem or anything like that. You have to put up with so much stuff. I think if you come home, if you guys live together if you come home to your significant other, or you reach out to your significant other, you shouldn't be taking out your anger on them at all. That's never gonna turn out good either. That person is supposed to be the one person you can turn to. That's why you hear when people get married of, I'm marrying my best friend. You should be able to go to your best friend. You should be able to talk about anything, and you should never have any secrets between you and your best friend. Hence, they are your best friend. Now, whether or not, you hear a lot of people say, oh, they're my best friend, and then obviously, next day they're sitting there talking shit. Obviously, that person's not their best friend, right? Yeah, you see that quite a bit too in friendships, not just relationships, but also friendships as well. Big one right here. We've talked about it, or at least maybe I talked about it in my in my practice round a little bit of holding on to the past. I'm pretty sure we did talk about this, but yeah, we'll just kind of run through it again. Holding on to the past is never going to be a good thing. You can't sit there and blame someone over and over for somebody else's mistakes. You know how hard it is to try to be the person to make someone laugh and smile and take all of their worries away and want to be the person to be there for them. And it shows. It clearly shows, and that person is, telling you like, oh, like I've never had this before, in my past relationship, this is how this person was. Even saying that, it still seems like you are comparing that person to your past situation, which, fine. If you want to throw down a, hey, I just want to let you know this is what happened in the past, and what you were doing is making me so happy, and I'm so happy I left that life behind me. Boom. Done. You don't need to bring it up anymore. You need to stop right there and let that person know one time, pretty much, you have taken all of my worries away. But if you find yourself in an argument and you bring it up again, oh, it's just like my last relationship. You don't need to be bringing up past again. The past is over and done with. It's gone. Why does it have to constantly come up? Oh, a big one here. Oh, well, who's that on your phone? Oh, just text message, probably from a buddy of mine or something. I don't know. I'm a big advocate of when you're with someone and you guys are hanging out, you don't have to constantly be on your phone. If you're constantly on your phone, obviously you're not enjoying that person's, you're not enjoying that person's company. Me, I like to set my phone down. If I grab my phone, it's to check a Brewer game or something like that, or check a score of a game, or if we're having a conversation about, oh, what was in that fucking recipe, or what was that movie called, where that actor, and you look it up, fine, is what it is. Me, I will let my mom or my dad or my sister or even my fucking best friend, you will sit unread for hours until I'm ready to open that fucking message. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. My phone can go off. Oh, I wonder who the fuck that is. It doesn't matter to me. Unless my phone starts blowing up and ringing because someone in my family died or there is an actual emergency, then I'll answer it. But other than that, I'm not answering it. I don't think I need to. But back to the example, if your phone goes, I don't know who it is. Well, you're not gonna check it just because I'm sitting right next to you. No, I'm not checking it because we're hanging out, we're spending time. Oh, so what my past relationship did is they would hide their phone from me, or they wouldn't open their phone in front of me. Yeah, doing that, to me, that's a very, very big no-no. Once again, you are putting your past on that person's shoulders. And it's almost like no matter how hard that person tells you that they are not your past person and that is not their intention and they're not going to do that to you, you need to believe them. But don't be a hypocrite. Okay? Don't be a hypocrite, because you can't do that back to that person. I've seen that before, and I've been in that as well. Of, oh, all right, well, who's texting you then? Well, why does it matter? Well, because you grill me every time my phone goes off. So now I'm going to ask you, but if you get defensive about it, what makes it right in your mind that you can grill me, but I can't grill you? You can't be a hypocrite. If you're going to be asking who's messaging someone's phone, you have to be willing to let that come back at you. All right, fine. Fuck it. You don't trust me. I don't trust you. That is where a lot of fights start. And that's where a lot of relationships do fail. Relationships full of secrets. Just be honest. Be honest with people. We've talked about honesty earlier today too. Is just be honest. Whether it's with the person that you're with now or the person that your ex is trying to get back with you or not. Be honest with them. No, I've moved on. I'm with somebody else. You need to leave me the fuck alone. You know, it's that simple. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to be honest with somebody. If someone doesn't take blame, yeah, we discussed that as well. Empathy. It says you're not empathetic. Once again, I'll put this in description if you want to. Empathy. If definitely if someone's having a rough day, you know, something happens in their personal life, and you know they just don't know how to deal with it. You should be able to be comfortable to go to your partner and just be like, you know, let it out without any judgment. You shouldn't ever judge your significant other or your partner on shit that they're going through. And if your excuse is the whole, you know, I'm just not that type of person to have empathy like that, you need to reevaluate yourself. You should be there for that person. You should be there for them if they're going through a hard time. They should have your attention. If they don't have your attention because that's just not the kind of person you are, then something bad happened to you in your past, but don't take it out on that person. Don't take it out on the person that's trying to be vulnerable in front of you. And if they're being vulnerable in front of you, they're being honest and true with you. That's basically how I see it. If a relationship has a lack of respect, respect one another. What is so goddamn difficult of having a little bit of respect? Of, you know, someone's just like, hey, you know, this really bothers me when you do this. Respect that. Have a conversation about it depending on what it is, but you should respect that person as to be like, oh, I didn't realize you felt that way. You know, shit, I'm sorry. Once again, going back to the sorry thing, if you say you're sorry, mean it. Own it. Respect that. Man, there's some good ones in here. There's some pretty good ones in here. Big life event rocked the relationship. I don't know if that's like someone died or something like that. You only think about yourself. That's a big one too. I don't think any relationship is going to work out if one person's always thinking about themselves. You know, you have to put yourself in each other's shoes. If you go out and do something and you think, oh man, like if my partner went out and did this, I'd probably be pretty upset about it. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna go home and, you know, see them and be with them. You know, have respect for each other. That's not too much to ask. It's not too much to ask is to have a little bit of respect for each other. Not expressing gratitude. Solid one too. Not expressing gratitude is a big thing. I think you don't see in relationships nowadays either. Is if someone is willing to do whatever they can to put you first and make you happy, express your gratitude to that person. Just, you can say thank you. That means a lot to me. But, if you just say that and then it's over and done with, it's like, oh, man, like, that person probably has their hopes up so high of being like, I did this for you. And like, all they get like a little peck on the cheek or something like that. Oh, thanks. That makes me happy. And then it's over and done with. No, like, show a little bit of compassion, show a little bit of love towards that person of like, oh my God, you did do that for me. You don't see that in the world a whole lot, especially now with people, the acts of kindness. I mean, it's out there. The acts of kindness are out there. Whether or not they get noticed is another question, because it's kind of rare. It's rare to see someone not think about themselves anymore, especially in today's age. Let's see. Changing your significant other, no. Don't forgive or forget. That's always a big one too. You got to be able to forgive. If somebody makes a mistake, depending on what the mistake is too, like I'm a huge one. If you cheat, you're a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You're an ex for a reason. It's never gonna not be that way. That's me personally. If someone wants to, forgive someone who has cheated on them, I respect your decision on that. I will not, throw any hate your way. It's a rocky road to go down. But that's all up to you. It all depends on how much that person means to you. If that person means so much to you that you're willing to forgive them for that, then Godspeed. I couldn't do that, and I don't see how anyone can. I've seen it done. I think that breaks a big trust barrier, and I'm a huge person on trust. You need to be able to trust each other. If you can't trust each other, it's not going to work either. If you don't listen, it's number 26. Like I said, we're kind of skimming through. I'm catching good ones that kind of catch my eye, or maybe something I've had a personal experience. If you don't listen, listening is such a huge, huge part of being in a relationship, I think. It's one thing just to hear what your person's saying. It's one thing to actually listen. Who doesn't want to come home after a hard day at work and just be heard, listened to, have a discussion? If someone says something, acknowledge that it was said. Don't have someone come back and be like, oh man, I fucking had such a rough day at work, and it's like, oh yeah, I know how it goes. Like, what do you want for dinner tonight? That's not listening. That's hearing. I hear what you're saying, but it kind of comes out as, I hear what you're saying, but I don't give a shit. What do you want to eat? You got to be able to listen to each other. If you can't listen to each other, fuck, man, it's difficult. So we're almost at almost at 33 here. So we'll kind of go through, catch some ones here, and then we'll kind of wrap this up a bit. Let's see. You're on different pages sexually. Yeah, that's gonna be something as well. I mean, yeah, if someone has a pretty high sex drive and another person like doesn't have a high sex drive, that's gonna create a wedge. It's gonna create a wedge of not necessarily that the person's gonna go out and cheat, but it's going to start turning into self-doubt. People are going to be self-conscious of, their bodies or who they are as a person, or, oh my God, this person like doesn't even really like me. They're just kind of hanging around to hang around, to versus, oh, well, obviously they might be getting it from somewhere else. I don't know. That hurts a person inside. It really does. And you can kind of tell when you look at them as to, like, let's say you're in a group, and, everyone's kind of talking about, people talking like how they talk around their friends. It's not just the guys, fucking girls talk about that shit too. And it just kind of goes, oh, well, I'm kind of lucky to get it, once every fucking month. I've never been married, so I don't know. I keep hearing those fucking stories of, yeah, I'm lucky to get it twice a month. Fuck, bro. You are really making it marriage seem like a horrible fucking thing now, and I don't want to be a part of that. But you know, if you're not on the same page, definitely that's gonna be very difficult. I mean, it can work, it can work, but you just gotta really know, someone's gonna feel pretty damn bad, or someone's gonna be thinking something else is going on. Relationships too intimate. Hold on, let's kind of read on that. Express some level of affection, but too much of a good thing can be a problem too. Huh. So too much intimacy can be bad as well. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I guess if you think about it, and it says here now that I read it, you know, naturally it burns it out faster. It leaves you less to desire, I guess. So yeah, I can kind of see how that's on the list. I can get that. Not compatible, obviously. If you guys are definitely complete opposites, you know, the whole opposites attract thing. I don't know. I think that's such an old saying. Yeah, you can have some differences, but if everything is different about yourselves, like if someone's more of a, you know, stay home and just kind of be a couch potato, you know, do whatever. The other person's more, I want to go out, you know, climb some fucking rocks. You know, obviously that's going to be an issue. Someone wants to go out and canoe, and, you know, you're going to run into some issues there. And the last one, someone cheated. Obviously, we've talked about that too. Yeah, that's my number one. Someone cheats, man, you're done. You know, I don't want anything to do with it. I've had to do that in the past of, you know, and here's the thing. You know, and we'll get a little personal in this one. Here's the thing too, is when I was with this person, I guess I wasn't that, I couldn't be upset. Was I upset? Yes, but I couldn't really be upset because of the fact that, you know, we said we're going to try to work on things. You know, things kind of went sour, and we're like, you know what? You know, we just got to take some time apart. You know, I would like for things to work out, but we got to take some time apart. So, you know, a couple days or a week goes by, and, you know, I found myself in a situation that I wasn't comfortable in. Well, was it cool at the time? I mean, yeah, I guess. Like it was kind of nice, you know, kind of getting the attention that I always wanted from somebody, and, you know, that happened. But when it came down to it, of actually really getting into it, I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And this is me being very personal. I couldn't, because of the simple fact of I wanted things to work with this other person. I really did. So I felt like I did the right thing on walking away from the situation, even though it was something that I did want, you know, for years. It wasn't the right move, and I knew it wasn't the right move. You know, then me and that person got back together. Well, we weren't back together, but we were hanging out, you know, and I was just kind of like, oh, I got to tell her, you know, I have to. So told her, you know, thinking like, oh man, like that shows me a lot. And then come to find out she happened to be in the same situation that I was in. She didn't make the decision I made. Now, respect for honesty. It was cool to have her be honest with me. But I couldn't respect the decision, I guess, but I also couldn't be mad or upset because technically we weren't an item anymore. We weren't together. So I couldn't technically get mad, but at the same time, I feel like that meant I was fighting harder if that makes any sense. I fought harder to make things work than she did. So we had to go our separate ways. Did I hate her? No, absolutely not. Hate is such a strong word. And more just loss of respect, I guess you can say, is I lost respect. Yeah. But yeah, so that was personal story on that as well. And like what I'm trying to get here, guys, and I know I'm going to wrap this up. This is 35 minutes long already. I was kind of rambling like an idiot anyway, but thanks for listening if you made it this far. To me, I just don't think relationships are what they were in the past. A lot of lack of respect happens. A lot of lies, and I think I don't know if it's because social media or however it is just more accessible, or you got apps, you got like the Tinder app and everything like that, and you see things on there too, like trying to keep things secret. So and so just doesn't have the drive anymore, but I need someone's attention, and I need this to happen. When you read things like that, it's like this right here is exactly why relationships are failing. Because people just can't be honest. It's such a tough thing, and I know a lot of people, if you're listening to this or if you're watching this or something like that, you're thinking like, oh fuck, like Johnny, like what's going on? Everyone's got their own things. I got personal things too. But it blows my mind. It's something I've always thought about, of why things go down the way that they go down. It's just so different of what like your grandparents went through. Like, you see grandparents that are married for like 60 some fucking years. And why? Because they work on shit together. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to go, you're pissing me off, I'm fucking walking to fucking Elise's fucking house, my neighbor, and I'm going to go bang the neighbor. That's how it is now, and it wasn't like that in the past, I guess. I don't know. I didn't live in that day, but I can assume that's kind of how it was. It sucks. It sucks to see someone who is willing to do everything they can in their power to show someone something, but for some apparent reason, the person they're showing it to either A, doesn't want to be honest with them and, just say, straight up, I'm not ready for something like this. Or B, they've been so crushed in the past that they won't even allow someone to even get close to them or allow someone to be their rock, that they so desperately want someone to be that rock for them. And when that person is there, it's like they push him away. And that's something I will never understand in a million years. Will I understand something like that? You so desperately want to grab on it. You want this magical fucking Cupid to shoot someone, and just like they are there for you. And when and when you finally get that person, to be that someone that you have been wanting for so long, and you just feels like you want to push them away, or you're just like, you start second guessing everything. In the long run, you're hurting that person, right? You're hurting that person because they are the answer that, you've been wanting. but for some reason, now that person's there, you're unsure. So I kind of feel like relationships are a lot of the time of just people being unsure. And that sucks. But you see a lot of good relationships too. You know, I've seen friends of mine that are in just phenomenal relationships. You know, I have a sister who's married. I have friends that have gotten married. They have kids now, and like they're their relationship seems so good. But once again, you know, that's everything face value. You don't see everything that happens behind doors. You know, maybe it is a fucking slugfest behind doors, and like when they're just out in public, you know, they're happy, but you still see them have each other's back no matter what. When push comes to shove, they have each other's back. I've seen that. You know, it's like, man, like those guys fucking seem like they fight like fucking cats and dogs. But when, you know, push comes to shove, those fuckers have each other's backs no matter what. And that right there is when you can tell that relationship's going to be just fine, is when they have each other's backs the way that they do. So that's kind of my input here on this little list that Best Life has. I kind of skimmed through a little bit. I kind of followed it, but there is ones I kind of skimmed by. But yeah, that's my take on relationships nowadays. I'm probably not the best person to give relationship advice, but that's just how I feel. So thank you guys so much. If you made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. If you like it, man, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't like it, or if you have a disagreement with me about anything, I'm more than happy to talk about it. You know, I do have a Discord that's in the description. You know, feel free to come into Discord. You can personally message me. Yeah, that's kind of my input on it. So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much. You know, hit the like button if you like it. If you dislike it, thumb down is what it is. And also you can subscribe to, so you can see any more podcasts that are coming up. I do have in the Discord podcast ideas. Feel free to whatever you think would be a good idea for a podcast. Still the biggest one I have is the Stephen Avery. A lot of people seem to be hitting that one up, and there is some news, I would say, going on with the Stephen Avery case. I'm going to read a little bit more about it before I drop another video on that. So thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great day. And, see you in the next one.